my Cobra radar system. The fates have smiled on me this day. With but one blow from Excalibur, the new GIJoe radar system will be useless.
Hey Yesterland fans, I'm Neal, and on today's episode of The Toys That Made Sense, we're going over another installment on these new classified series action figures that were just released by Hasbro here a few weeks ago. That's right, guys. I've got in hand today, I've got Storm Shadow. Yeah, check him out. He look cool. We're going to be digging into him here in a minute. So sit back, grab your favorite beverage and snack, and I'll see you guys on the other side. All right, guys, I've got Storm Shadow here, taking a look at him right here off the box. Now, this is the second release edition or third release. I don't know however you want to view him, but this is more of the classic original look that I remember Storm Shadow looking like as a kid. Minus, we have the gloved hands. When I was a kid, they were ungloved, and apparently Hasbro is going to redo these hands or release them with bare hands. Some guys are already doing customs, but we found this out with San Diego Comic-Con here just recently, the announcement. So really looking forward to digging into this character. Storm Shadow was always one of those figures as a kid. I remember he was hard to locate and find even back then. And I was fortunate to, I think, pick up like a hand-me-down, maybe at a yard sale, or found him at like at a secondhand store, but he was already in beat up condition. So anyways, one of the harder ones to find as a kid. And we all know the 3 3/4 inch one goes for a lot of money if you have a pristine copy of one. But anyways, great looking figure. Can't wait to dig into him. Let's see all the pros and cons about him. But here you have it. Nice bubble pack here, or correction, clear window. We see that he comes with several weapons, or his 2 swords, his bow and arrows. It looks like maybe 1 arrow, and it looks like we get that hood, and then we get his backpack there. So I like the artwork here on this better than I did on Spirit. This looks more traditional, if you will, on how G.I. Joe used to draw. Flipping it around the side, great artwork here of Storm Shadow and all his different poses, his ninja stars and stuff like that. We got a beautiful graphic there. Flipping him around to the back, we get all that standard artwork there of all the figures to date. Flipping it to the side, we know this is figure number 35 in the line. We get the insignias there of the Cobra / Stormtrooper emblems. And then back to the top, we get number 35 on top and a clear window. And down on the bottom, as usual, the legal mumble jumble and the barcode. So without further ado, let's dig into them. All right, guys, I've got Storm Shadow out of the box. And one thing that I want to point out right away is look at that beautiful Cobra artwork there behind the insert. I love seeing that traditional Cobra emblem back there. It's so cool. You can see the snake there coming out, if you will. See his fangs. Just love seeing that on the Cobra artwork. All right, let's dig into it. Now, I'm going to tell you right now, I already have my reservations about the weapons, okay, and the figure himself. Excellent looking sculpt, excellent looking character, but I have my reservations, and we'll go into those here in a few minutes. But starting with the accessories, we get some nice looking swords, but again, it's that bendable plastic material, okay? Bendable plastic, as you can tell. So be careful with it. Some of them might be tweaked, and mine had a little bit of bend at the tip. We get this arrow here. It's pretty cool looking. We get the nice red feather there, if you will. If you can kind of see it there, it's a red feather. We do not get the tip painted at all silver or anything like that. Moving into the bow. The bow does flex. The compound bow does flex, which is kind of a neat feature, but it is, you know, in a fixed position. So be careful pulling on that. If you pull too hard, I'm sure you could break it or snap it. I like that they accented it in the handle with a little bit of red color. That's pretty cool that they did that. Moving into the backpack right here. This is nice. We see where the swords will go. We'll go ahead and put those in now. One sword in there like so. And the other one in the bottom. Now we also got a spot. You can tell it's kind of hard to see, but right there for the arrow, that arrow can also be displayed in there like so. And then if you look at it, it blends in nicely. So they did a nice job having that all match up. Moving over here, we get his belt tie. We'll get into that in the figure here in a moment. And then we get the traditional head type bonnet, if you will. You'll have to take the head off, I guess, to put him on and give him that look like on some of those cartoon episodes where Storm Shadow had that up when he was trying to be more secretive or sinister, if you will, sneaking around. And then let's move right into Storm Shadow. Again, great sculpt and overall look of the figure, but I noticed right out of the bat, he is really light. Really light. And I did have for a second a little bit of a hard time posing him. Had to kind of mess with the feet to get him to balance right, because it's hard to tell. It's kind of raised right there and just so slightly off center to where if you don't kind of mess with the feet, he starts to rock back. So just be careful with that. You'll probably have to, kind of make your own assumptions on how you're going to be able to counter correct that. But moving from the bottom up, let's go right into it. I like that we get kind of the split toe on his shoes, his ninja shoes, if you will. The foot rocks forward and back, almost kind of comes up to a 45 and then bends all the way down. The only side to side that you get on it is a roll like that. Okay. And then in the shin area, the shins spin side to side. They probably do a 360, but no sense in me swiveling those all the way around. Moving up to the kneecap, we get the standard articulation there. Bends all the way to the back, down, and that's about it. And then into a pointy position if you wanted to with the foot. Like I said, that's where I was kind of having some issues and getting him to pose right. Same thing with the left leg. Bends at the knee. And one thing that I like about this, right out of the package, I don't have to hit it with a heat gun or any warm water. So moving up to the hips, standard crotch belt area, ball joint there, swivel side to side, swivel side to side. Moving up to the belt, we have, looks like a blending, kind of like a floating belt that kind of blends in. I noticed that if you push it down over towards the buttocks, that'll work best for him. And then if you go ahead and right there, you put on your belt, you can kind of move that to the side, and then that will give you that belt effect of Storm Shadow there, with his belt off to the side, kind of flowing in the wind. Moving over to the wrists, we have these kind of transparent looking wrists, but it's actually the gray, same material like they used to make it look like cloth material on the boot. The hands swivel side to side. The wrists don't really rock back and forth, just side to side. As you can tell, he bends at the elbow, not all the way back, but he does come all the way up for a nice cut. Not, I don't know, what degree would you call that? Not 45, maybe 30, 33, something like that. I'm not good with my math, so I apologize. Didn't pay very good attention in all my geometry classes. So anyways, looking at his biceps here, one thing that I did notice that I wasn't too keen on, it almost looks like they missed his muscle here. And I get why they did it, right? They did it so he can bend at that joint, but it kind of looks odd. Looks a little out of place, like he's missing tissue there, if you will. But once you're head on with him, straight on, you really can't tell. Moving up onto the chest area, the abdomen, we get the typical Hasbro style hinge for the stomach and the abs. You can feel the click in there, and that's about it. He goes back to almost a 45, up center, over, half over, and fully over. So not too bad. Moving up, we got the belt here over his chest. We got a ninja star on the chest here, but it's fixed on there. It appears to be black belt in general. We get his nice scarf here around his neck, and then we get into the head sculpt of Storm Shadow himself. So I wanted everybody to see that. Great looking head sculpt there. There really doesn't need to be much to it because we know who Storm Shadow is, and he's kind of a sinister looking guy, if you will. So they did a really good job on the eyes. A little muddy, but not too bad. Okay, I'm not gonna hit him too hard on that. And then that's about it, guys, on the figure himself. So moving into the accessories, we're gonna put his backpack on there. So his backpack goes on the back like so. That arrow does float a little bit in there in the backpack, but it's not the end of the world. His bow, you can also attach this, from what I understand, kind of goes right there. I believe that's how that works. There we go. It attaches on the back there, so you can pose him in that position if you wanted to, and then he can be in a pose stance, if you will, just kind of standing on his own, or you can pose him with his weapons, and I'll put his weapons in his hands here in a minute. Now let's get into that hood. Let's put that hood on him. So from what I understand, this is basically, I guess we have to pop this off his head. Yep, pop his head off to get the scarf off, put his head back on, and then there we go, we got the hood. Now, I don't know if I like that per se. It kind of looks funky, if you will, but, or sorry, I did it totally wrong. Goes like so. I wonder why it looked weird. Well, I lost Storm Shadow's head. It bounced off my table here. So let me go back in here. We've got to put his head in there like that. Push him down, and there you go. Sorry about that. I made him look horrible there for a second, but that is how Storm Shadow looks with his hood on. All right. And then going from there, we'll go ahead and put his backpack back on. And then putting his swords in his hands. There you have it. So you can pose him however you want. I've got his swords there off to the side. Now let's go into his posing capability. Again, I don't believe we're going to be able to, I mean, if you were going to hang him and do different like ninja-like moves, I think you can get different poses and stuff like that, if you will. But if you were going to pose him kneeling on the ground, he poses a little bit better, if you will, than Spirit did in my last video. So it looks like you'll be able to pose him like that. That's not a bad look. Things like that. So he poses a lot better. You can do him coming in a sinister mode, like he's coming out of the air, like so, like a ninja, like he is. So guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you liked it, remember to like and subscribe to my channel. Remember to pass my video along amongst the community and share all my videos. And as always, I'll see you in Yesterland.